Welcome into the Oh Health Yeah podcast, brought to you by Healthy is Wellness. As you all know, our mission is to empower you to take control of your health and elicit a little bit of curiosity in your life when it comes to the world of wellness. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and if you have loved ones or friends that you think would benefit from this, share it with them. Let's get this thing going. We are live. Welcome into another edition of the Oh Health Yeah podcast, powered by Healthy Is. What we're going to do today is we're going to do another this or that episode. Zach and I really enjoy these. What our goal is with this one is to talk about a person, middle-aged person who is trying to gain muscle mass. Zach's going to list off some this or that questions, and we're going to talk through them, debate a little bit, and see what we think is better for a middle-aged person trying to gain muscle. Dun, dun, dun.
You just like arguing with me, don't you?
Yeah, basically. on screen.
All right. So our archetype is middle-aged person that's trying to gain muscle.
Yes, sir.
Keep that in mind, guys.
Don't forget it.
Number 1, lift heavy or lift lighter with more reps.
Oh my gosh. That is so hard because
It's individual to the person, right?
periodization, like both the different phases of your journey. You said, can you say them again, please?
Lift heavy or lift lighter with more reps.
Oh man, that's tough. I'm going to go lift lighter with more reps due to the fact that depending on how you categorize middle age, lifting heavy can have high impacts on the body, the joints, the tendons. So lifting lighter at higher reps is kind of my pick here. And when I think gaining muscle, I'm thinking of this concept of hypertrophy, which is actually when your muscle fibers gain size, and that occurs at higher reps the majority of the time. If this individual was just trying to get stronger or produce more force, it could be beneficial to lift heavier, but I'm thinking high reps, low weights. What do you got?
On that topic,
Yeah.
because I'm the social media guy, have you heard the stuff about stair pounding? Have you ever heard of that?
Like stair climbing?
No.
Pounding.
But I'll have to find the video, but I'm paraphrasing here, so don't roast me, guys. But the video, I believe, is a doctor or a couple of doctors stitching each other's videos talking about how, especially in older women, osteoporosis becomes more prevalent, which is the hollowing of the bones. It's a condition where your bones become more hollow, and how they talk about how when you walk upstairs, driving your feet hard can help not reverse it, but kind of intervene in that. We'll have to look at the video. I can pull it up.
Well, it makes sense because you're stressing the bone structure. Osteopenia, osteoporosis as you age is getting more common, specifically with like older people. It makes sense because stomping on the stairs would send your body a stimulus that you need to adapt.
So this high school student commits murder.
Backing that with protein and the correct nutrient portfolio to be able to allow the body to adapt is what you need to do. I think it comes back to like the process of hormesis in the body adapting. MMA fighters are like that. Like those dudes, all those calf kicks and all the kicks that they do, their legs get so strong over time. But it's also about creating a relationship with that stimulus to where you feed it enough nutritionally to be able to grow in the way that you want it to. Because if you overwork it, it'll actually have negative impacts. You looking at a video of?
Yes, I'm going to play it, okay?
Pounding your bones translates into biochemical feedback, which causes your bone
to say, oh, a lot's being expected of us. Let's lay down better bone.
That's the voice of orthopedic surgeon Dr. Vonda Wright, and she explains this concept very well. You see, bones are living tissue, and they only stay strong if they're challenged. So when you pound stairs, you're actually doing something very specific for your skeleton. Every step is going to create ground reaction force, okay? So that force travels up your foot, through your leg, and into your hips and your spine. And And bone cells, they sense that stress and respond by lying down more bone. And that process is called mechanotransduction. It's literally how bones turn force into strength. And at the same time, your muscles are contracting powerfully, and muscles pull on the bones where they attach. And that pull is one of the strongest signals bones get to stay dense. And the other thing is speed matters too. So faster, more forceful movements stimulate bone far more than slow, gentle ones. And here's why it matters. Ladies, listen up. Osteoporosis is incredibly common. 1 in every 2 women over the age of 50 will break a bone related to osteoporosis. Bone loss accelerates after menopause, and most women don't even realize they're losing bone until they suffer a fracture. Walking is great for your heart and your mental health, but it doesn't create enough force to stop bone loss. Bones need impact, load, and power. So pounded stairs isn't actually extreme. It's preventative, and it's telling your skeleton you're still needed. You need to stay strong. And that's how we protect our bones well before the fracture happens.
So that's a gal that I follow on TikTok called Lady Spine Doc. I believe she's a spinal surgeon. She's pretty awesome, honestly. My question to you, because like how, you guys paraphrase. Obviously, hers was a little bit more in depth. In depth, she's a doctor. You're very intelligent. Different explanations that explain the same thing, right? My question to you is: do you think rucking does the same thing?
Absolutely.
Because it creates more downward force into the ground.
Well, she mentioned force in that explanation too, definitely. It's interesting because overloading the body can happen in a multitude of ways. It can be force, like blunt force, like stomping on a stair. It could be extra weight that whether you're bench pressing it or carrying it, it can be extremely valuable for the body. It could be tempo. So like even sitting in a squat for 30 seconds is much harder than sitting in a squat for 3 seconds. So there's multiple ways to overload the body. So I think what she's saying makes absolute sense to me. The biggest thing that comes to my mind is feeding and fueling the body to allow it to rest and recover stronger. I use the analogy just because I was in the concrete world for a while there of I could go across the street right now and tear out somebody's driveway. I could get it set up to pour. I could have all the forms up, everything. And if the mixer truck doesn't show up with the concrete, there ain't no way I'm pouring the driveway. The product is not there. I could stand there and act like I know what I'm doing all I want, but if the concrete doesn't show up, I can't pour it. So what she's doing when she's stepping on those stairs is sending a body a signal that, okay, we are building muscle. We need to build muscle. We need to come back stronger. Now, when does that actually occur? Probably when you sleep, when you eat protein, when you get the calcium she needs. So yes, I agree with what she's saying. I think it's about backing it with nutrition to be able to rest and recover, but it makes complete sense. And I would agree with you that rucking is a very similar concept. For sure.
Okay. Okay.
So going back to your first question, high reps, or no, it was high reps, low weights versus,
We got a little off track there.
right?
It was lift heavier, lift higher, lift lighter with more reps.
Yeah, lighter with more reps is what we're going with on this one. For middle-aged, trying to gain muscle.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready, Freddie.
Cardio first or skip it and just lift?
Middle-aged, trying to gain muscle. I might get some hate on this one. I might get some hate, but I'm going to skip it and just lift. Reason being, if you do cardio before you lift weight, look at any study, look up any literature, anything you want, you are going to increase your injury risk when you lift. And when you are middle-aged, trying to gain muscle mass, the number one thing that I want you to feel is empowered and excited to lift or to move or to do things. I don't want to increase your injury risk. So if it's low intensity cardio, it decreases the risk of you getting hurt. But in my mind, I'm thinking just lift if your goal is to specifically gain muscle mass. We got thoughts?
I'm glad that you set the deviation or the difference. That because I was gonna say like, what about walking? Like low intensity.
Yeah.
I think that's important, but it's like a matter of what do you consider cardio? Like, what does your cardio look like? Should you be running marathons and lifting? Probably not. Yeah. If that's your goal, probably not.
Well, even like I think of when I was playing college football, like not a ton of athletes get the chance to play college athletics. And every single workout that I did in college, there was a very minimal warm up. There was a weightlifting session, and then if we had strenuous cardio, it was at the end of the workout. Because they know that if you do any form of strenuous cardio before you go do a deadlift or a back squat, it's not the best for you.
Really? I thought it was just punishment.
Well, that too.
God.
That too.
Oh,
Mental illness.
did you guys ever do push towels, dude?
Oh yeah, I was really good at those. We would take 45-pound plates.
Do prowlers?
No, and put them in a towel.
Right. Well, that's like push towels are just the resistance of your body, but it's a prowler when you actually add weight to that. One of the things that they do, like in high D1 programs, is they have like the AstroTurf in their workout rooms, and then they have a big rack that they'll put 1,000 pounds on, and you do a push towel with that rack.
Yeah. Yeah, we did a lot of crazy stuff like that.
Push towels are awful, dude.
Yeah.
When you don't have any butt muscle like me,
Oh man,
wrecked. Just wrecked.
I was pretty good at those back in my glory days. But for this instance, when we're thinking gaining muscle, middle age, I'm going skipping cardio. Get at me in the comments.
Age is just a number, or recovery gets real after 40 years old.
Recovery gets real for sure. I think.
Speaking of,
Oh gosh, don't say it, man. Don't say it. Don't say it, dude.
big old 3-0 tomorrow for Gustifer.
I'm getting old. I'm getting old. So recovery's about to get real. But coming back to this question, I've had so many clients that are going through either perimenopause, menopause, and it definitely takes away control of some areas of health. So as you get older, it does become harder to recover. And I think it's not necessarily that it's harder, but it's you have to be more deliberate about it. And with males, testosterone, and we've all heard of people utilizing testosterone, some form of hormone replacement therapy. We'll shoot an episode on that soon. But I think there's reasons that those things come into play because as you age, it does become a little bit more difficult to recover. And our pillars of health become even more important. I remember hearing somebody say once, if you compare a healthy 20-year-old to an unhealthy 20-year-old, you're not going to see much difference. But if you compare a healthy 50-year-old to an unhealthy 50-year-old, you're going to see a significant gap. So I think as you age, recovery can be more difficult, but it's about pulling the right levers and making sure that you're in control of it. So I think age definitely plays into the strength game. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm a spry chicken still, so I'm
know.
just young buck. I'm 27.
Jeez Louise, must be nice.
I think I met you when you were, we started work. I met you when you were like 5, but
Mhm.
we started working together when you were 27, right?
Ish, yeah.
3 years now.
Now you're with me with my last day of being 20. On my last day of being 20. Holy cow.
Is Kenny giving me a hard time about it?
No, she's very supportive about it. She thinks the next chapter of life's going to be amazing. I'm the one that's giving myself a heart attack.
I'm really supportive of it, but I'm not going to pick on you for it.
I know. I got to double down on recovery now. Dang nabbit.
So, do you think, in your opinion, a little side tangent for you personally, turning 30 years old, do you think you're going to change anything with your cold plunges?
I don't think I'll change anything with my cold plunges. My activity and my exercise has changed as I've aged. Coming back to the first question that you asked of lower weights, higher reps versus higher weights, lower reps, I'm very much more focused on lower weights, higher reps at this time in my life.
Thinking into sauna, dude.
I would love to, honestly. I might get a sauna if I can. If I can afford one, I might get one. But to me, the act of lifting heavy, the juice is not worth the squeeze anymore.
Really?
Like I can lift.
You're as strong as you need to be.
Yeah,
You're quite a bit stronger than you need to get.
and I just put myself at an injury risk when I put super high weights on my back this morning.
You want to talk about that real quick?
My groin?
Yeah.
Frick, I don't know if people want to hear. If you guys want to hear, I about 4 weeks ago I was back squatting heavier than I should be, typical Gus fashion, and I messed up my groin. It was pretty bad. It was to the point where I had pain with restroom use. I had pain with all sorts of things. It didn't feel bad when I first heard it, but the next day I almost went into the doctors. And I didn't expect to be sharing this story, but I had to take 3 weeks off of lifting. And it was the hardest 3 weeks of my life because I had a relationship with exercise. It's extremely addictive and it fills my cup. And so I had to take 3 weeks off. And so having this conversation of gaining muscle mass and what's best for a middle-aged person to do such is interesting for me to have right now because I just now started working out again after my 3-week hiatus.
So would you say your goal is maintenance? Or is your goal mobility now. Like, I feel like your goals are actively shifting before our eyes.
My goal is mobility. Last year, my goal was muscle gain. You remember that? I
Yeah.
got to my goal there.
Yep.
This year, my goal is mobility and to drop some body fat. That's my goal. So stay tuned, folks. That's my focus.
I got one more question for you as far as your goals go. And you tell me to shut up if you don't want to talk about it. I can edit it out. Have you ever stopped taking creatine for any period of time?
Yes.
What was the longest you went? And did you use the in-body in the meantime?
Yeah, I lost a bunch of muscle mass and water.
I bet you lost a ton of water weight.
Probably 3 weeks. I stopped due to the fact that I was out of it, and I can't remember why I wasn't taking it. But yeah, when I get up creatine, I drop like 4 pounds of water weight usually, which is crazy. So awesome.
Is that technically losing muscle mass, or is it just not reading the water that's in your muscle?
Both. It's a little bit of muscle and majority of it's water, to be honest with you.
Because that's what creatine does, is
Yeah.
blows up your muscles with the aqua.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Take a creatine, folks.
But that, even though it's not technically muscle that you're losing, it's the water in the muscle. Does that water in the muscle make you stronger?
Yes, it helps the body to produce force. It helps with the adenosine triphosphate production, ATP, which is actually the energy source that the body uses to produce force, which is super amazing. So almost the same way that like you've heard the whole freaking bodybuilders and the gummy bears and the Skittles and all the carbohydrate-rich, sugar-rich things. What those things do is they pull water into the muscle bellies. Creatine does it in a different way, but it's very similar to where the reason that the bodybuilders use those things is pre-workout or like pre-workout snacks, and they make it this huge thing on social media.
DK Metcalf.
Yeah, you're pulling water into muscle bellies to allow the body to produce force. And when you have the gummy bears right before a workout, it helps with that production. So yes, creatine, not only does it help with muscle gain and size, but it also more so helps with force production.
Good, cool. And we keep going off on side tangents for show.
Oh. We're going on question 4.
Something like that. I'm kind of bouncing around here.
Got you. How many do you have in total?
6.
Okay.
And we've done 1, 2, 3, 3. We might only do 5. Okay, so let's go hire a coach or figure it out yourself with YouTube and grit. Or come and see us.
So hard. Wish we'd done a beginner versus intermediate versus advanced version of this. If you're a beginner, I think hire a coach. No matter where you're at in your journey, a coach can be beneficial. And I think specifically with lifting weights, if you're getting into some form of resistance training, having a coach, having a guide can be extremely beneficial. To be honest with you all, like there's a reason that we're in the health and wellness world, and there's a reason that there's people like us that still get coached by other people, because having a coach can bring you a whole different perspective on your own journey. And one of the fun things that we're launching and we're excited to share is that we're partnering with D1 here in Billings, and they have a personal trainer there that any clients that we send to them, he's willing to see. And he's somebody that I trust. I know he's a dang good strength conditioning coach. So when I'm thinking whether you hire a coach or you YouTube it and grit it out, I would lean towards the coach aspect of things on a personal note, as well as like I just shared from a business perspective. Our business is literally partnering with groups of coaches that we trust and that we want to send our people to, because we know how valuable a personal trainer or coach can be, not just in the wellness world, but also in the exercise activity realm. So I would lean coach versus YouTube. Tough it out, type vibes. What about you?
No notes.
No notes? What do you mean by that?
Maybe.
Like no preference or what?
It's so hard to remove yourself from the knowledge that you have. Like as a person.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just think of injury risk, and if you're to do it by yourself, the hard part too, you come back to cost. Personal trainer.
That's where my mind always goes, is cost.
Personal trainer is expensive, but at the same time, so is blowing out your knee. Depending on what you're doing.
Yeah. I have to bring myself back to the archetype of someone that wants to gain muscle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think if you go the YouTube, TikTok, Instagram route, there are so many people contradicting each other.
Oh, definitely.
And it's just noise. There's so much noise with social media. So I think getting help, if you can't afford it,
yeah,
that's a great choice.
Yeah, I agree. and it helps you sort through the weeds. But getting help that you trust, getting help that's a vetted source, getting help that knows.
I go to you, like, whenever I have actual muscle questions for my dad,
Yeah.
I always go to you about them.
Getting help that actually knows what the health they are talking about. Because like Zach just said, there's so many people on social media that are trying to make a buck or trying to do something, trying to pop out and get a bunch of views on their thing. And they're saying these outlandish things. If you're going to try to get help in the personal training realm or in the fitness workout realm, make sure the help is somebody you trust and somebody you vetted. Because there's a lot of people out there with poor intentions, so be careful.
Facts. What's next door? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we just got one more to end it.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to go. Remember, the archetype is someone that wants to gain muscle, calorie tracking, or eat cleaner and trust the process. I think at least protein tracking. I think that's where my mind goes.
So situation dependent. Yeah, I would agree. Protein tracking is huge. I think if you're to go by the book and go by the scientific literature, protein tracking is everything if you're trying to gain muscle mass. The thing about it is it's not doable for everyone. So studies have came out showing that if you want to optimize your muscle gain, you need to intake, or you should intake, 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight. So for example, with me, if I'm focused on losing body fat this year, I'm going to try to get to 200 pounds. I'm about 215 right now. I would shoot for 200 grams of protein every single day. So if I was just to answer this question science backed, I would say tracking, but tracking protein primarily is what I would say. The hard part, I actually had a client this morning that came in and we tried the tracking the protein thing. And the tracking the protein thing doesn't work for everyone. If you're in a situation where you don't always cook your meals, or you don't always prep all your food, you're not able to weigh everything out, then tracking the protein isn't the best. Where I would come at it is, can you eat your protein first? And I know that wasn't your question, but eating mindfully to me is like being cognizant of what you're eating. And so if somebody was trying to gain muscle, 2 of my first actionable items where I would pick which one to go would be, can you eat your protein first at every meal? When you sit down, I don't care if it's a dang cheeseburger and fries. Can you eat your burger first and then enjoy your fries? If it's chicken Alfredo, can you eat your chicken first and then enjoy your Alfredo? Or if you're an analytical, numbers focused person, let's track protein, not calories, and see where it gets us. What are your thoughts?
I think I agree. It doesn't work for everybody, especially when you introduce mental health into the equation. Just tracking. It's hard because scientifically it's tracking. Tracking is what's going to get you to your goal. But I think that there's the straight line path is tracking. But that straight line path can cause orthorexia, bulimia, anorexia. It can cause all sorts of disordered eating. So if you take this straight path, I think that's what Healthy Is approaches is. We don't talk about tracking calories. We go this way. We go around. You're still eating in a deficit, or eating in a surplus based on what path we go on together, but we don't focus on this. It's like we just take a different route there. We avoid the storm of those disorders. Trigger warning, by the way, talking about this disorders. So it's like here's an analogy, right? Say we need to go to Bozeman. We live in Billings, and the Bozeman Pass is treacherous. We know that there's 2 inches of ice. If we go that way, there's a 50-50 chance we're getting in a car accident. But we know if we go up through Broadview and we go over through Rygate and we shoot down to Helena, we can come back around, we can skip the pass altogether. Takes longer, might take a little bit more work, but that's our 90% success rate to get to where we want to go, avoiding tragedy. Right? Does that analogy make sense to you? So I think bare bones facts. Calorie tracking is how you lose weight. It's how you gain muscle. It's the scientific way to get somewhere. But just because that's the fastest, most accurate way doesn't mean it's the only way or the right way for you. That tracking, push back on me if you feel like it.
No, it makes sense. If you're not from Montana, basically what Zach's saying is going a different route to get to the same place. But that route is much safer and more meaningful for you when it comes to health.
Yeah.
I think like the thing that comes to my mind, and this is so damn true. I believe that health and behavior change is 50% science and 50% art, honestly. And I remember probably a year ago, I sent you a Sean O'Malley video, and he was talking about being in a flow state to where, like, when he's in the cage, he's in flow. And to me, like, health is 50% science, 50% art, due to the fact that studies can show you so many different things. Studies can show you that creatine is the best thing in the world. Studies can show you that protein is needed to gain muscle mass. But the way that that applies to your body and you and your life is completely different than the way that it applies to mine. So although science might show you a certain thing, just like you just said, science might show you that you need to eat X amount of grams of protein, or science might show you that you need to be in a caloric surplus to gain size. There's an art side to every single one of these actionable items, and this is also why our business even exists. Like, if every single scientific study was so easy to just stick to and get to a goal, the health and wellness industry wouldn't even be
Yeah.
alive.
It wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
You're right. You're totally right. This, science, for the most part, takes the human out of it.
Yeah. And it's also why you have to talk to the person in front of you. And it's also why these videos are so damn hard, the this or that ones, specifically because it's like, okay, we have an archetype. We can go one way or the other. But health to us, there's so much art.
It's so broad because, like, I mean, literally what you just explained, what comes to my mind right off the bat, dude, is like, yeah, sure, technically, the grams of protein. But what if this middle-aged person is trying to gain muscle and they're only eating 20 grams of protein a day, 30 grams of protein a day? Does that mean that they're not going to gain muscle if they don't do the 1 gram per pound of lean muscle mass? Absolutely not. I don't think it means that, because if they go from 20 to 30 grams to 90 or 70 grams of protein and they're 100 pounds of muscle, which happens a lot when you have bigger people, they're still going to gain muscle, increasing their protein. So it doesn't always apply. It doesn't fit everybody. It's not a one size fits all.
No. Well, that's also why our program is based around retesting and measuring.
Yeah.
That's the reason that we don't do we don't sell contracts with businesses or sell memberships where people just come in one time, because there's no point. Like, you have to be able to take on actionable items in your life and then assess and see if they actually change outcomes. Not that we think that any metric defines your health.
It's a tool,
Yes.
100%. It's not who you are,
Mm.
but it helps us figure out how to help you get to where you want to be. Like, for me, I have absolutely zero interest in stepping on a scale. So I'm trying to find a new way to measure that,
To measure change,
to quantify it, right? So I know where I'm at. And that's hard. It's really hard to find that.
It is.
But I know that my ultimate goal, which is pain-free fly fishing with my dad and my friends, has nothing to do with how much I weigh. Has nothing to do with it.
Not a lick, man.
It does. It's relative to how big I am, yes, but it's just so different for everybody.
It is. That's based around your goals.
I shouldn't say it's not about how much I weigh. It doesn't matter what the number says on the scale. The muscle mass is definitely a factor in me doing that, but I do okay with my muscle mass. So just to clarify.
Yeah. So coming back to that last question, tracking calories versus eating mindfully. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to it. I think it's about where you're at in life.
I'll give you the pass on this one. This one depends.
Yeah.
There is no this or that answer for this one.
There's not. And there's so much to be said for figuring out where it fits in your life. It's like a puzzle. You got a puzzle and there's one piece that fits that's going to complete this puzzle. And not that your health puzzle will ever be completed. Like, I don't think anybody ever gets there. We never arrive. but it's about putting pieces in the right place that allow you to paint the picture, that helps you to begin taking back control. And it comes back to that idea of health is not just science. There's an art to it. There's a you to it. Every single person's health is completely different. So know that. Know that your journey is different than anybody else in the world.
I have 2 quotes to leave our people with, and it's
Boy.
directly applicable to what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Darcy didn't make the quote, but she really loved the quote. To err is to be human, or to be human is to err. And that invoked me talking to her about a saying that my dad always used to say during baseball. Again, it's probably not his quote, but and I'm absolutely, I'd be shocked if you've never heard this quote, but it's fast is slow and slow is smooth. And just try to keep that in mind. Make sense? Did you ever hear that in sports growing up?
Really?
No.
Well, I played pitcher and first base, right? And especially on first base. Did you play baseball?
Oh, I didn't like baseball. I played t-ball. That was
Mm. So when you switch innings in baseball, the first baseman is kind of commanding the field, doing a little bit of warm-ups. I'll never forget the saying. So basically what you do is you throw a ball, you throw grounders to third base, shortstop, second base. And then when everything's ready, so like when your batters come out, when the umpire's ready, you say ball's in, coming down. And that's so crazy. I would have pegged you for a baseball player for sure.
Wasn't my thing. Wasn't my thing.
But anyway, like you really want to synchronize with your third, second shortstop, right? So it's like fast is slow and slow is smooth. So doing as fast as you can, yeah, it might look good, but it's not gonna be good. It's not smooth. So slowing it down, fast. So fast creates mistakes. Doing it, that kind of ties this whole episode together. It's like when you do something too fast, a lot of mistakes arise from it. But if you do something a little bit slower, pull a little bit less levers, it's smoother, less mistakes happen. So
Take it slow.
that's all I got. Take it slow.
Take it slow, folks. If you are focused on gaining muscle, I hope this episode was helpful for you. If you have questions on gaining muscle mass, different this or that things, or any questions that you have for us, leave it in the comments. Leave us ratings, reviews. We appreciate all of you for tuning in, and we cannot wait to be back with you all soon. Have an amazing day.